अथ कृष्णाश्रय स्तोत्रम.
Krushnaashray Strotram, Hymn for Refuge to Krishna. Shri Krushnaashray scripture was created at a place called Adel in Vikram Samvat 1570, when Bhula Mishra of Lahore requested Shri Mahaprabhuji to narrate about experiences of entire pursuits performed by Lord. Then was created this scripture because such a divine fruit can't be obtained without the refugee of Shri Krishna. In this prayer, which has 11 verses, Shri Mahaprabhuji explains to Vaishnavas why seeking absolute refuge only in Krishna is the only solution available to them in these malicious times when all other means are already polluted. Divine, ardent and passionate, the three types of Vaishnava are explained in the combination of each such types into 9 such verses. The 10th verse of the absolute refugee and the 11th bringing up Lord himself thus totals to 11 verses, explained in different ways by various critics in 10 chapters of Sri Bhagavad. The 10th-fold spiritual pursuit for and the 11th being the godly form himself. All seekers in refuge form or 10 are termed as life, whereas 11th is the soul, with an intent to complete surrender to the form of origin. Refuge into Sri Hari's mellow form authorized incalculable bliss, Aganitananda, one who attracts everyone, is being recommended by Sri Vallabhacharyaji. Hence, complete surrender of oneself in pious feet of Lord from the forms of every element of Vedas and of religion is being strongly preferred by him. As per the description in the scripture, the religion contains 6 constituents. By its adequate performance amount to compliance of religion too, and assuming that by the said religion Lord's grace is achieved, but due to strong influence of malicious time, there arises great possibility of abnormalities of means as also failure of those 6 forms of religion. Thus, does it mean that failure to follow our religion principles cannot reach to achieve Sri Hari's grace? Having such confusion is obvious, then Sri Vallabhacharya is assuring the creatures that absolute refuge to Lord Krishna will accomplish entire religious principles. First, second and third verse focuses on Ananyashray and seeking refuge in anyone else other than Krishna. 4 or 5 and 6 depicts failure to abide religious principles. Thereafter, in the 7th verse, in accordance with the path of action, 8th verse describes path of wisdom, 9th verse according to the path of devotion, emphasizing about great importance of Sri Krishna. The success about the complete surrender has been expressed. That too is reward of revelation of this scripture. 10th verse summons the teaching of surrender path.
सर्वमार्गेषु नष्टेषु कलौ च खलधर्मिणि पाषण्डप्रचुरे लोके कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
First verse. This first verse widely describes the abnormalities, contamination created in this present tense, Kal, in first out of 6 components of religion mentioned hereinafter. All the paths followed in this Kali Yuga, age of Kali, which has been destroyed, being converted as wicked religion for the purpose of offering reward. Hypocrisy has grown in abundance in the present world. Therefore, in such a time, my movement towards Krishna is the only solution. Marg word has been created from Sanskrit word mrug, the root word which means look for. In this so-called Kali Yuga, all these paths mentioned earlier, path of action, karma, wisdom, gnan and devotion, bhakti, to be implemented in quest of Lord Krishna have been corrupted. So only way available is the Lord Krishna's refugee. In Kali Kal, villainously, even religion, Kal, means which appears superficially like the truth religion, but that religion misguides these devotees in the darkness of ignorance. In today's times, influence of Kali Yuga can be felt on many such religious wherein original scriptures of religions are misused for selfish motives, whereas other falsely depicted religion attracting to give special rewards have become very quickly popular in the world today, which are really wicked religions only. Due to impact of present time in this world too, hypocrisy and artificiality has increased widely. People, for their selfish motives, corrupt others' mind to drift away from their religion and drag them into other different paths. Therefore, in such times, only taking refuge into Lord Krishna is an ultimate solution, because He inspires the intelligence. He only will protect us from all such false religions and hypocrite people. Because time, Kal is under total control of Lord Krishna and not otherwise. In every verse here, it is repeatedly reminded that the order is of surrendering towards Krishna, because Krishna means authority of bliss. Krishna means a supernatural element of who captivates everyone, the power of destroying all sins of living entities. Therefore, taking his refuge will perfect all religion instinct of living entity. This is the only simple solution.
म्लेच्छाक्रान्तेषु देशेषु पापैकनिलयेषु च सत्पीडाव्यग्रलोकेषु कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Second verse. Failure in reference to the place, Desh, as the second component of religion. All places are controlled by wicked-minded people, Malechhas. All those places have been branded as places of sin only. The divine personalities are getting upset due to suffering. In such times, Krishna is the only refuge. In Nibandha, Sri Mahaprabhuji is explaining about theist, sur. People with divine nature believe in Lord, and atheist, asur people with demonic nature. Here, Malechhas does not refer to any particular caste or creed. Sri Mahaprabhuji and Sri Gosaiji has already adopted many like Khan, Ali Khan, Pathan, Tansen, Tajbib, etc. in their shelter. Here you are starting that all countries have been surrounded with Malechhas, atheists around, have become centers of sinful acts. In these present times, in addition to the countries like Angadesh, Bengal, Kaikat, Hastinapur, which are in a mode of devotional ignorance, many other countries have been also become filled with wicked people. Therefore, virtuous men are frustrated with suffering there, because among such evil people, the wicked intelligence, it is very painful to perform religious duties and pious activities. In those countries which are places of sins only, like greed, seduction, adultery, robbery, violence and torture, etc., are widespread. In countries with such controversial circumstances, it leaves no option other than the shelter of Sri Krishna. Scriptures state that all religious activities would disrupt when performed in the country where cow slaughter, like sinful activities, are performed in the pretense mode of devotional ignorance. Today, no country is free of such violence. Then only solution is refuge into of Sri Krishna.
गङ्गादितीर्थवर्येषु दुष्टैरेवावृतेष्विह तिरोहिताधिदैवेषु कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Third verse. Failure of third component of religion, material, dravya. Holy places of pilgrimage like Gangaji, etc. are also infected by wicked persons. Therefore, transcendental form of these places of pilgrimage are getting distorted. In such times, only way out is my refuge to Krishna. Gangaji is accredited the best among all the places of pilgrimages. Consider all other places of pilgrimage as included in Gangajis, etc. So when holy places like Gangajis are also spoiled by wicked people, then what to think about the other such places of pilgrimage? Puranas preaches about rules and regulation of pilgrimage like saintly gestures of worship, bath in holy waters, observing celibacy. To enable worshipping demigods of that pilgrimage, perform all the purification process. giving donation or honorarium to Brahmins, etc. If all these rituals are adhered to diligently, then presiding deities of those pilgrimage will be pleased and reward in that pilgrimage. But in current situation, wicked people having controlled such places of pilgrimages, those holy places are no safe and secured anymore. In order to understand and benefit from the rules and regulation of the holy places, the glory of that holy places, pursuit of incarnation appeared there. All these subjects are being preached by the community of various class, priests living there. So this was the beginning of the devotees and the priest relationship, but those priest class living there generally care for only for fulfilling their ulterior motives and worrying about their selfish needs. Due to many such filthy reasons, divinely effect of presiding deities of such holy places has disappeared. Then how the pilgrimage will fructify? In such circumstances, refuge into Shri Krishna shall only be justified.
अहङ्कार विमूढेषु सत्सु पापानुवर्तिषु लाभपूजार्थयत्नेषु कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Verse 4. Fourth component of religion is described as performers, satsu, leaders holding flags of religion. Truthful leaders lost their discretion power, specifically turned themselves into stupid on account of their self-ego in them. They were committing sins for their own benefit and striving for their self-worship. Hence, to protect ourselves from all this situation, Shri Krishna is my only refuge. The fourth ingredient of religion referred to as religious preachers, which include leaders of various religions, scholars, priests performing religious activities, family priests executing offerings and sacrificial like fructitive activities. All these entities performing religious activities have been stupid, nourishing their self-ego as well as their own prosperity. Stupidity denotes lack of religious insight as the relevant scriptural knowledge, but possess some different kinds of knowledge, giving rise to stupidity on account of selfish motives taking shelter of worldly materialism. Thus, without understanding real religious processes, but misusing them only for selfish motives, hence they commit various sins only. They encourage all to include in self-worship, to earn self-glory, to collect own benefit with their false ego. Mother Earth, along with Brahmaji, demigods, etc., pray to Supreme Lord that I am overburdened with load of sins. Puran describes that Mother Earth had complained about the sins committed by such prominent leaders of religion are fulfilling their personal gain by marketing Lord's name and form of Supreme Lord, Srimad Bhagavad, etc. Hence, Mother Earth feels loaded of all those sinners only. In such times, surrender only to Krishna is the single way.
अपरिज्ञाननष्टेषु मन्त्रेष्वव्रतयोगिषु तिरोहितार्थदेवेषु कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
The failure of the fifth component of religion, that is mantra, jap, inadequate knowledge of mantra or having some different knowledge, has destroyed the expected rules, regulations, fastings, etc. of mantra. Therefore, presiding deities of mantras have diminished. Thus, only Lord Krishna is my refuge. Vedas has described all rules of chanting mantras. Examples include sacred place, pious clean clothes, asan, that is a mat, facing a situation in suitable direction, clear pronunciation of mantras, realization of presiding deities of mantras, etc. are always necessary. Then only such chanting mantras gets accomplished or fructified. Mimamsa, named scriptures, has established the meanings of subject of mantra. To obtain complete knowledge about mantras from a qualified spiritual master, offering obeisance, posing questions, rendering services to him, and by suitable conduct, pleasing him, etc., is needed. Through understanding process, different nyas, meaning the practice of mantras, then only the effect of mantra will be manifest. But today, all these expected process of fasting and yoga, etc., have been declined. and also absence from mantra-related suitable knowledge or having some different understanding of knowledge. People misuse these mantras for materialistic worldly reward or solving material worldly problem. This has resulted in the disappearance of deities related to those mantras. Therefore, the mantras have just remained as plain words. In such circumstances, the only solution is shelter of Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna has full control over mantras, but mantra has no power of control over Sri Krishna.
नानावादविनष्टेषु सर्वकर्मव्रतादिषु पाषण्डैकप्रयत्नेषु कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Sixth verse. The failure of fruitier action, karma, the sixth ingredient of religion. Every activity, vow, accomplishment implemented under various controversial debates is the cause of destruction of the result. Action performed by such litigants are simple a try of spreading hypocrisy. Thus only Krishna is my refuge. Many controversial opinions and many disputed theories or paths are already widespread in religion. All the activities and vows, etc., are not executed according to the paths which are against Vedas become ineffective. Mayaism, numberism, Sankhya-vad, path of Nayayakis, path of Mimamsa, everyone is giving direction according to their own path. The Nayayikas are preaching that after acquiring knowledge, it's contemplation and repeated meditation one can achieve self-realization of the soul and relieve soul from all kinds of distress. This is called atheism. Sankhya scriptures are professing that Mother Nature, Prakruti, gradually annihilates into the Supreme Lord. Their path is called based on atheism. Sankhya Yoga propagated by sage Kapil is different from it. Mimamsas believe in action and mantra. Mayavadis believe in material world to be deceptive. Everyone has different belief about the life, world and absolute truth. Such litigants sometimes disbelieve activities considered important by Vedas and impress upon useless activities not described in any scripture as important. They set meaning of scriptures according to their own imaginative mindful inferences. Hence their followers start performing various kinds of ceremonies now here described in scriptures, and such actions do not give any fructifying result as they are totally against the Vedic scriptures. Such ceremonies are being guided and performed for ulterior motive of obtaining money or fame or nourish hypocrisy. Therefore, performing an activity under the shelter of Sri Krishna belong to many only fructify. All the paths enumerated above are paths of falsehood, because in accordance with the scriptures like Vedas and Srimad Bhagavad, all the acts of creation, maintenance and destruction happen within the Supreme Lord only. Demigods and demons, yakshas and gandharvas are etc. Everyone can achieve their own welfare only by worshipping and serving the divine pious feet of Sri Krishna. Therefore, all the other paths described above are not authoritatively approved by Vedas and Srimad Bhagavat.
अजामिलादिदोषाणाम् नाशकोऽनुभवे स्थितः ज्ञापिताखिलमाहात्म्यः कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Verse 7. Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is powerful to destroy the sins of most sinful people of Ajamil. Thus his complete greatness is very well known. Shri Lord Krishna, may I take a refuge? In his previous 6 verses, having described the failures of 6 constituents of religion, here is being described superiority of path of fruited action under devotion, that is karma marg. Demigods can offer salvation only to living entities who perform activities as prescribed in Vedic scriptures, but Lord Krishna can offer salvation even to those who has adopted the wicked path, or even those who have not even desired. Therefore, many sinners like Ajamil have been salvaged. Supreme Lord Krishna has salvaged many lives by perfecting the activities of those lives, showering graciousness, irrespective of whether those activities are prescribed, prohibited, or not mentioned in Vedic scriptures, that is, devils or danavas. Living entity may connect and with Supreme Lord with any emotion, that is lust, fear, jealousy, love or devotion. Lord converts any such activity performed in any emotion into casual reason for showering His grace. Your such complete greatness, potency of mercy, we know from Srimad Bhagavat, Puran, etc. Therefore, from the viewpoint of path of fruitier action, shelter of only Lord Krishna shall be the possible by making any activity as a cause to accept that living entity. In this way, by performing activities prescribed in path of devotion, the living entities will acquire their best welfare.
प्राकृतः सकला देवा गणितानन्दकं बृहत् पूर्णानन्दो हरिस्तस्मात् कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Verse 8. All demigods can reward only material, calculable enjoyment and maximum up to absolute truth, Akshara Brahma. Only Lord Hari is complete bliss. May I take refuge to such Lord Krishna after path of fruitier action. Now expressing the success of shelter of Krishna based on analysis of element to be known by path of knowledge. All gods are under the control of material nature, Brahmaji, etc. Three primary demigods are told to be the trinity of three modes of material nature: goodness, sattvic, passion, rajas, and ignorance, tamas. So other demigods are also under the control of material nature and their happiness. Bliss can be counted, that is calculate enjoyment. In Taittiriya Upanishad, the happiness has been counted, starting from an emperor to Indra, etc., demigods and the Brahmaji, etc. Lord's potency expansions, but there are only single Sri Krishna is told to be complete blissful, or no one whose bliss can't be measured, Aganitananda. Therefore, there are two ways of calculating 33 Koti demigods. One, 33 gods. Second, 33 types, which include 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, 12 Aditya, 1 Indra and 1 Prajapati. All of them are part and parcel of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, or is each simply exhibiting partial qualities of Lord. Only Supreme Absolute Truth is Shri Krishna, is completely blissful. Only Lord Hari takes away the ignorance or false knowledge of living entity and impart knowledge about His greatness. Therefore, in this path of knowledge, also shelter of Lord Shri Krishna is the best.
विवेक धैर्य भक्त्यादि रहितस्य विशेषतः पापासक्तस्य दीनस्य कृष्ण एव गतिर्मम.
Verse 9. Even if devoid of intelligence, patience and devotion, etc., especially attached to sins, are miserable, then to shelter of Lord Shri Krishna is beneficial to them. Whatever has been told above is considering the nature of Supreme Lord, but now Vallabhacharya is saying considering the nature of living entity. After the path of fruitier action and path of knowledge, now here from viewpoint of path of devotion, the success of shelter of Lord Krishna is established. For devotion, mainly intelligence of discretion is required, that whatever Lord is doing, that is according to His own will and will be in my best interest. This intelligence is also absent in me. It is necessary to bear three kinds, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik and Adhyatmik, of distresses patiently to avoid any obstructions in devotion. I am also devoid of that patience and connecting with Supreme Lord with love. Such devotion is also absent in me. Despite all the attached to sins, I am miserable, that is, don't have any enthusiasm. In my such situation, there is no possibility of salvation, but surrendered living entity, even when those living entities are of wicked nature and conduct. Lord Krishna can make them noble men. Therefore, going into His shelter is the best solution for me. In this way, incapable of executing anything, then living in shelter is the best with humble attitude. Just as in Vedas in favor of host, The spiritual master says that I am going in the shelter of spiritual master. May all goes well for me. I should serve the spiritual master, etc. Sentences are spoken by all spiritual masters in favor of disciples to educate them. One should understand that in the same way, Sri Mahaprabhuji is speaking such humble words here for the education of his own associates.
सर्वसामर्थ्य सहितः सर्वत्रैवाखिलार्थकृत् शरणस्थ समुद्धारम् कृष्णं विज्ञापयाम्यहम्.
Verse 10. Almighty Shri Krishna is omnipotent, bestows all supernatural wealth at all places, deliver nicely the surrendered living entity. I pray to such Lord, Shri Krishna. In this verse, from the viewpoint of path of surrender, the success of shelter of Shri Krishna has been established. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is omnipotent, that is capable of doing everything, kartum, or making everything done as usually, akartum, or even doing something different, special, anyatha kartum. Therefore, the living entity is who could not follow the 6 ingredients of religion explained earlier, or incapable of following path of purity action, the path of knowledge, or even path of devotion, or even sinful completely object, if comes in the shelter of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, then he bestows all transcendental and desirable things to them. Thereafter, saving the surrendered living entity from all vices, all bad association, ignorance, and in every way, deliver them nicely. If one deliver from these clutches of material world, that can also be rewarded by other demigods as well, to living entities coming to their shelter. But deliver nicely means accept the living entity forever and keep them as their own. In this world or spiritual world, one's delivered living entity does not get entangled again in this world. By shelter or Lord of Sri Krishna, who delivering in such a way, the living entity can obtain this ultimate reward. I pray to such Lord Krishna.
कृष्णाश्रयमिदं स्तोत्रम् यः पठेत् कृष्णसन्निधौ तस्याश्रयो भवेत् कृष्ण इति श्रीवल्लभो ब्रवीत्.
11th version. Whoever reads these verses of shelter of Lord Shri Krishna in alliance of Lord Shri Krishna, then they achieve perfection in shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. Shri Mahaprabhuji is saying this. In this verse of describing benefit of hearing this scripture, explaining the reward of surrendering to him, he is saying that reading it in alliance of him, one will perfect the shelter of him. Here question arises that shelter like special reward just by reading, but here Sri Mahaprabhuji is talking about glories of association with him, that the surrender can become firm by praying directly in front of Lord Krishna for his shelter with feeling of surrender, humility, and knowing the glories of surrender. Thus ends this Krushnaashray Strotram composed by Sri Vallabhacharya ji.